Happy Thursday, everybody. Wanted to do a follow-up on a video I did the other day. This Pasco County Sheriff violates my First Amendment and fraudulent officer. Video got quite a lot of views, and I'm looking. I got 10 thumbs up and 126 thumbs down. So I guess a lot of people don't like the First Amendment. Just going through some of these comments, I found them a little bit comical, and it's kind of a little bit frightening. I had Kathy here says, keep messing with the police and see how that works out for you. Number one, I don't mess with the police. I mean, people may think I do. Usually I'm minding my own business, and they'll stop and ask me for my ID or beat me up or, whatever they want to do because they're, they think they're above the law. So we'll see how that works out. Sean had asked, why would it be a violation of the First Amendment if it's not being hosted on a state or Fed site? We'll get to that. I'll explain that too. Seems to be some confused people as well. One gentleman wrote that God did not give you your rights. The U.S. Constitution did, and the U.S. military protects those rights. You irrelevant slag. How is that for First Amendment rights? It's your right to say it, but as far as the Constitution giving me my rights, that's an absolute lie. That's false. The Constitution is there to protect my rights. My rights were there before the Constitution. So there you have it. Other people are saying it's tedious. Freedom's not free. Things are tedious. You have to fight for them. Somebody else, this is by far the most ignorant thing I've ever heard from any individual. I back the blue. Oh, I'm going to show you something there too as well, and that was from Domestic Goddess. If you want to owe your blind allegiance to people that are violating your rights and violating others' rights, you go right ahead. Just because you might not have had an issue with them, a lot of people have. Your mileage may vary. Looking through, and there are some people that, actually and honestly get it. Someone wrote, it's going to be a hard lesson for the government agency to learn. Public forum, if it's run by tax dollars. But the thing is, every time that these government officials do something that's contrary to the Constitution or violates your rights, they don't pay for it. For the most part, they have qualified immunity, and the taxpayers pay for it. So people like, you and I. So if you want to keep protecting, them doing that, you're just hurting yourselves. And this is one of the best ones right here. Tasha, your outlook on this world is pathetic. I feel sorry for you. Well, don't feel sorry for me. I'm going to be just fine. So I was looking through some articles, since everyone seems to know how all of this works. Right here on Slate, this was from July 28th, 2017. And this is going to show you right here. This is just one example. Federal court, public officials cannot block social media users because of their criticism. And here we go with our wonderful president, commander-in-chief. And it goes on to say, does the First Amendment bar public officials from blocking people on social media because of their viewpoint? That question was hung over the White House ever since Donald Trump started or assumed the presidency and continued to block users on Twitter. The Knight First Amendment Institute at Columbia University has sued the president on behalf of blocked users, spurring a lively academic debate on the topic. But Trump isn't the only politician who has blocked people on social media. This week, a federal court weighed in on the question in a case with obvious parallels to Trump's. It's determined that the First Amendment free speech clause does indeed prohibit office holders from blocking social media users on the basis of their views. This case right here was really good, and I'll pull it up in a minute. It's Davison versus Loudoun County Board of Supervisors. Involved in the chair of the Loudoun County Board of Supervisors, Phyllis J. Randall, in her capacity as government official. Randall runs a Facebook page to keep in touch with her constituents. And one post on the page, Randall wrote, I really want to hear from any Loudoun citizens on any issues, request, criticism, compliments, or just your thoughts. She explicitly encouraged Loudoun residents to reach out to her through her Facebook or her county Facebook page. Then comes along Brian C. Davidson, a Loudoun denizen, which is, I know it's a very, Denison's a very interesting word. Look into that if you have a second. I really like it. Took Randall up to her offer and posted a comment on her page alleging corruption on the part of Loudoun County School Board. Randall, who said she had no idea whether Davidson's allegations were true, deleted the entire post, thereby erasing his comment, and blocked him. The next morning, she decided to unblock him. During the intervening 12 hours, Davidson could view or share content on Randall's page, but couldn't comment on its post or send private messages. Davidson sued, alleging a violation of his free speech rights. As U.S. District Judge James C. Kacharis explains in his decision, Randall essentially conceded in court that she had blocked Davidson because she was offended by his criticism of her colleagues in county government. In other words, she engaged in viewpoint discrimination, which is generally prohibited under the First Amendment. Kacharis elaborated. And, I mean, it's very, very easy. If you look at the Constitution, we have all these amendments. And the Amendment 1, it's probably there first for a reason. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. There's a lot in that short passage. Even the right to peacefully assemble, a lot of these times you have to get permits to do that. There's so many layers to this, but I'm just going to focus on the freedom of speech right here. So if we go into this trial, which was Brian Davison versus Loudoun County Board of Supervisors, I'm just going to read the memorandum. It states, this case raises important questions about the constitutional limitations applicable to social media accounts maintained by elected officials. Plaintiff pro se, Brian C. Davison, so he represents himself, brings suit against defendant Phyllis J. Randall, chair of the Loudoun County Board of Supervisors, under 42 U.S. Code, subsection 1983. Now, that is very, very important. If you go through U.S. Code, it'll take you forever to go through it. But 1983 is a huge thing. Title 241, 242 are as well. It's deprivation of rights. So 42 U.S. Code, subsection 1983, civil action for deprivation of rights. Every person under color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of any state or territory or the District of Columbia subjects or causes to be subjected any citizen in the United States or other person within the jurisdiction thereof to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws shall be liable to the party injured in an action at law, suit, inequity, or their proper proceedings for redress, except that in any action brought against a judicial officer for any act or omission taken in such officer's judicial capacity. Injunctive relief shall not be granted unless a declaratory decree was violated or declaratory relief was unavailable. For the purpose of this section, an act of Congress applicable exclusively to the District of Columbia shall be considered to be a state or a statute of the District of Columbia. Once again, there's a lot to unpack there. If you go through it and break it down line by line. But basically, your rights are very important. Color of law is a very real thing, and it's a falsity. It's fraudulent. Acting under color of law, it's a criminal offense. So going back right here to this case, and we left off with the 42 U.S. Code 1983. Plaintiff's claims stem from an incident during defendants banned him from her Facebook page titled Chair Phyllis J. Randall for a period of roughly 12 hours. Plaintiff alleges that this violated his rights to free speech and due process under the United States and Virginia constitutions. A bench trial was held on May 16, 2017. The court took the matter under advisement. And here's what the court makes the following findings of fact, and for the reasons set forth below, concludes that defendant acted under color of state law in maintaining her Chair Phyllis J. Randall Facebook page and banning plaintiff from that page. So she was guilty. She wasn't allowed to do that, but she still did. It was a colorable offense. Defendant's actions, while relatively inconsequential as a practical matter, did in fact violate plaintiffs' rights to free speech under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution and Article 1, subsection 12 of the Constitution of Virginia. It goes on to say defendant did not violate plaintiffs' due process rights in the 14th Amendment. I didn't read that far into it, but I'm going to go through this whole thing. But either way, everyone that was saying that, I was wrong to, bring that up, that they had done this to me, it's right here. The courts have decided. And like I said, this is, for anyone that wants to look it up, Brian C. Davidson versus Loudoun County Board of Supervisors. So we're going to go over here to my favorite page. This is Pasco County Sheriff's Office. If you look at their logo, it's not to protect and serve, it's we fight as one. Now, I know when I spoke to that gentleman, Lieutenant Myers, he took the brunt of my, of what I had to say. But they fight as one, so they're all one unit. He can listen to my concerns. But scrolling down here, I can share, I can view comments, but I can't make a comment. And this has been for weeks now. These officers, if this being a public page, it's public, it's run by government officials. For them to silence you, because apparently I must have damaged somebody's ego because I had a dissenting view on, what they had to say. Is that any way for this country to run? These people are there. They took an oath to honor the Constitution. I had a video up. It's right here. Pasco Sheriff's Office tells me I have no First Amendment rights. And in this video, I'm not going to play it, but you can watch it if you want. They had apparent concerns, that I was acting criminally for a Facebook post. So they seem to be taking a lot of offense to any negative criticism. I had taken a picture, one of my trail cameras had captured a picture of one of the officers with his hand on his gun the day that they came over and, wasted 4 hours over at my house. And people are saying, oh, they have much better things to do with their time. No, they don't. And here they're back again in this video. Here we got, this is Corporal Baca right here. And then in the back is his Sergeant Denbo. And actually, I had requested their oath. This is Corporal Baca's oath. It says, I, Enriquez Baca, citizen of the United States, or the state of Florida, and of the United States of America, and being employed by the Pasco Sheriff's Office and a recipient of public funds as such employee, do hereby solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States of America in the state of Florida. Right there says it all. You're either going to honor your oath or you're not. My First Amendment's as important as anyone else's. This is America. This is how it's supposed to run. His oath was dated the April of 2012. Now I know these expire at one point in time. I just don't know the exact date, and I am looking into that. And right here we have one for Sergeant Denbo as well. It's dated 2011. So I was looking through a couple other articles, and this one a friend had sent to me the other day. It was about New Hampshire police arrest a man for being mean to them on the internet. These people have such fragile egos, and they can't take any sort of criticism. They'll go as far as coming to arrest you. Now, they accuse this guy of defamation. I did a lot of looking into defamation and libel. I would consider, I didn't really look as far as what he said, but there's defamation, there's slander, there's libel. I know that you can't commit libel on a public official, and if anything's true, and it's your viewpoint, a public official, somebody famous, it's not going to hold water. So, but that's yeah, I just wanted to bring that up and kind of, show everybody that, regardless of what all these people say, on this post, that I'm a waste of time and, I'm bothering people. All the heat that I took the last couple days, the last couple weeks over this, this freedom, this, that, and the other thing. I don't understand where you're all coming from. Either we have freedom or we don't. People say freedom isn't free. We have to stay on these things, or it's all going to be taken from us. So that's all I got for now. You have your right to tell me, choke on 1,000 Ds, go F myself. I don't care. But I hope that you'd be on my side if you're, a true freedom-loving American and you believe in this as much as I do. Other than that, you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.